hundreds of people have asked me this question, and I have had varied answers over the years. But the fact of the matter is that ultimately you want to get a fair idea of everything under the sun for the first few years as a law student, and even in your practice days as well. You do not want to say that I only do this or I only do that. And now to the question, where should I start? I say start where you can. Because if I put myself in the shoes of the average law student right now, maybe most of you who are sitting and watching this, it is not that you have dozens of opportunities and dozens of offer letters from firms, senior lawyers and advocates in your hand. Often the answer is just to start. Don't wait for the next better thing to come your way. Just start right now, start as soon as you can, and also leave the moment you feel either uncomfortable, you feel unappreciated, or you find something better. The moment any of these things happen, leave. Because the way I look at it, the faster you move when it comes to applying for internships, selecting among the internships that you have gotten through, performing there, learning, getting the most out of that place that you can. And when you realize that you've learned enough, that you don't need to learn more, you can always jump ship to go to another place. And let me tell you this, try to do as many different internships as you can. Different places, different institutions, different areas of law. On a lot of occasions, people say that, I want to, say for example, Ragini says, I know that I want to end up practicing litigation eventually. To Ragini, I would say that knowing that you want to do litigation, it's very counterintuitive, but knowing that you want to do litigation eventually, I would implore you to actually go and try to actively avoid litigation for as long as possible during your law school internship days. Why? Because once you make up your mind about one thing, I would say that you try to do everything else very, very quickly. And I don't mean that don't go for litigation internships at all. That would be a huge damper on your possibilities of future early quick success. But I would say all the other good glorious avenues which could possibly be there, such as, for example, corporate law, government jobs, internships, being a judge, being a law officer in a company. All of these things, get a very, very quick idea of how these places are like in in maybe like 1 or 2 or 3 month internships. Right? Because I'll confess to you that one of my biggest regrets of law school is not having interned with any decent, good tier 1 corporate law firm. I did a few internships with mostly litigation focused law firms when I did do internships with any law firms, because I also, just like Ragini, had it in my head that I am going to be practicing law, I am going to be a litigating lawyer. But then when my final year rolled around, I realized that before I step into litigation, perhaps it would make more sense for me to understand how a large institution works, which I was not able to get through in my last final few months of law school days, which I sorely regret. If I would have planned better, prepared a little, strategized a little, I would have definitely scored a few of these internships, and I could have used, one, the knowledge that I gained over there, two, the friendships that I forged over there, to a huge advantage. And I must confess, to this date, I struggle with trying to build a firm kind of a setup for myself and for my team, because I am always, I am just waddling about in the dark. I have no clue of what I'm doing. I have always been an advocate. I have always been the person who takes the brief, goes to court and argues his matter. But when I am trying to consolidate the resources of the people, the infrastructure and everything around me, I find myself at a massive disadvantage. So learn from my mistake. And I would say, if you know that you have to practice litigation, definitely go in and try all other spheres of law. Maybe avoid the NGOs, because I feel that there's not much learning done over there. If it's your altruism that calls you to do it, go for it. But apart from that, a lot of people say, "Sir, when do I start?" The answer is you start yesterday. And if you can't start, if you can't do that, you start today. And if you can't do that, you start tomorrow. Start applying to as many places as you can. If you get through to multiple places, apologize to the other places and just go for the best place that you like. If you don't like it over there, or or you feel that your self-respect is hit over there, maybe, or maybe you've learned whatever you had to learn in a short span of time, which I would say is the best possible thing, you move out to the other ones. That's what I would say you should like approach your whole career of internships.